Hey everybody, what I have with me here is the Green Mountain Grills Ledge Prime, formerly the Daniel Boone Prime model. Picked it up on a really good Black Friday sale a couple of days ago. It came with the rotisserie accessory, a cover, and 2 bags just included with the price. So I picked it up, was really excited to get going with it. And then I encountered a problem as soon as I built it. So the actual unboxing went really well, and the assembly only took about maybe 30 minutes. But as soon as I plugged it in, I knew there was a problem, and that's what I want to talk to you about today. I consider it to be a design flaw and potentially a build quality issue. I want to walk you through it because I think a lot of people are probably having this problem, and it's not a big deal as long as you know about it and you take care of it right away. So I want to walk you through that. I'm going to step behind the camera now, and we'll take a look at what's going on. All right, so what we're looking at here is the back of the hopper on the grill, and I want you to notice the 12-volt socket here. So they switched to this a little while ago. It allows you to connect directly to a car battery or any plug in your car, things like that. You know, it's meant for flexibility and tailgating. But mine was not fully assembled when I got the grill. So the whole top, just for reference of the grill, comes in one piece. The only thing you have to put on is the legs and the shelves and the handle, things like that. This is all fully assembled, and this grate is up in here, so you're not even supposed to mess with it. But I noticed this was very, very loose on mine, and everything was going well right up until I did the software update. I plugged it in, did the software update, and as part of the software update, you're supposed to unplug it from here before it starts the install. So when I unplugged the power cord from here, the entire adapter pulled out of the grill. Now these are 2 pieces and they're made to do that, but when they're fully installed, they shouldn't do that. So we're going to take a look at underneath, and I'm going to show you what I discovered and why I believe this is either a design flaw or a build quality issue, and we'll go from there. All right, so we're looking up underneath the hopper right now. As you can see, this is the back of the 12-volt socket, and it's very tight in there. It's because I already addressed this, but I want to take it apart real quick, and I want to show you what actually happens, because the real concern here is when this part is not tight, this little plastic washer will flex, and this entire thing is metal and the hopper is metal. So what's happening is if the plug moves around, it's actually shorting out and sparking against the side of the hopper, and that can be a real problem, both for your electronics or just sparks in general flying around an electronic appliance. That's not good. So the quick fix here is to understand how this part is built and make sure it's very, very tight, and then follow up every once in a while. But I want to show you what it was doing. I'm not going to short it out. I'm not going to cause it to spark, but I want you to understand what this piece is supposed to be like and the signs of it not being installed fully. The first thing I'm going to do here is start to disassemble it, and I apologize if it gets out of focus, but this wire right here just sticks on the back. So I'm going to pull that off. It just hangs, and then this part needs to twist, and you can start it on the back here, but then with my hand in the front I'm turning. See how that's moving? So I'm going to hold this steady and turn on the front, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. Okay, I haven't even fully taken it apart, and I hope you can see this. The metal here is now no longer on this ring. It is pulled through the ring and it is touching the metal of the hopper. So if the cord moves and this happens while you're grilling, either you're going to get a spark, your grill might short, or what happened in my case was if this moved and it did detect a short, the entire grill shut down. So none of the electronics come on. The power adapter was blinking green instead of a steady state green, and the grill wasn't working. The only way I discovered this was because on Reddit, somebody was talking about how when they moved their power cord around, the grill would start randomly shutting off. So I started looking at exactly how this was built. Let me take this apart and show you what it's supposed to look like. Okay, so this is the outer part of the socket. And when I say outer part, I mean the part that's going through the hopper like this. You see it's got a little plastic collar on it right here, and then this goes on it from the back side. So the hopper's in between this, and this comes together like this. And they fit perfectly together when they're held tightly. I'm gonna move a little bit closer. But when they're not tightened, when you haven't screwed in the other part of this directly up against it, these start to get loose and they start to turn like that. And that's when you can get that shorting condition, and that's when this becomes a problem. So I'm gonna put this back in and I'm gonna show you one more time, and then we'll hook this up and we'll close out the video. So this just slides right through here, and then this goes on the back, and then we'll hop underneath and I'll show you how I hook it back together. Okay, so I'm holding this in place from the outside right now. I'm gonna put this ring back on. So the ring goes on, and the ring should sit flush up against the wall here. As long as that's the case and everything's tight, you're good to go. So if you've gotten one of these grills, this is the main thing you want to check. This piece here is metal also. So this goes on top here. Now you can't turn this because the ground wire is connected. So what you have to do is turn the outside. And this is how mine came. It came loose like this. And it was so loose that when I tried to pull the power cord out, these two parts, the silver part and the gold part, came apart completely. But even as it's sitting now, you can see it's not fully tight, and it's in a position where it could short again. So this is really what you have to be careful of. You need this flush up against the side, and you need it tightened in a way that all the little points on this gold piece do not contact the metal of the hopper whatsoever. So I'm just gonna tighten that on until I can't turn it anymore. Now it's in there tight again, and you can see all these points are touching plastic. And this is kind of why I consider this to be a design flaw. I mean, when this thing's in place and working as it should, sure, it's great, but do you really want to rely on just this thing being perfectly tight and a tiny piece of plastic to ensure that you're not going to short out? And the answer for me is no. There's a bunch of these 12-volt sockets that can come with an outer layer of plastic, or even a grommet that could go all the way through on both sides here. And they chose not to do that, and I don't know why. But because of that, you just have to make sure this thing is tight in there. So the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna reconnect the red wire and then fire it up, and I'll show you that everything's good. All right, the wire is connected, so we'll just power up the grill. All right, so we're just gonna plug it in right here. All right, so I'm leaving that clip in. What you just saw, I plugged this in and nothing happened. And when I went back under there, it wasn't sitting perfectly and it didn't come on. You saw it yourself. So now I went back under there, I adjusted it again, I made sure it was perfectly level so it wasn't tilted towards the box in any way. And when I plug this back in now, we have power. I don't know, I mean, this is a premium product. It's not cheap. And to have something like that be the issue is why these are turning on, or when the cords are getting bumped, they shut back off. I don't know that that's acceptable. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do. I was really excited about this, and at least I understand that it's none of the electronics or anything on the inside. It's just this little 12-volt adapter on the outside. I'm leaning towards keeping it because I know what the problem is. I know how to fix it. And potentially, I could find one that's made of plastic or something, switch it out if it becomes a persistent problem. But as long as it's tight, as long as it's set, and as long as you make sure it stays tight, you shouldn't have a problem with that. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this helps you out if you had a problem and you were looking for a fix, because I had to play around to find this. There wasn't any kind of instructions in the manual or anything like that about what was happening. It was just pure trial and error on my part. So hopefully it helped you, and happy grilling.